Hi, thanks for having me.
Nice to see you.
And you, yeah. I think like many people, you start from a young age, and you like they drill it into you in the school, in your early school days, and that they get you writing little stories about things and that, and you just go off and be as creative as you can be that way, really, and it just sort of started off that way. But I can remember one of the earliest things I'd written was a story about an astronaut going off to Pluto, and that, I think it was just called Journey to Pluto or something. I must have been about 10, 11 when I wrote that. Obviously I'd written before then, but that's the earliest thing I can think of. So I started that, but when I really started to write, it came as a bit of an accident, really. I was studying GCSE history, because I loved history back then, and I thought, yeah, I'll pass, I'm great at it. Didn't turn out as well as I thought it would, so after that I just spent most of the lessons just doodling and writing just simple rhymes and that sort of thing.
So it sort of blossomed
Yeah.
out of a natural talent.
Yeah, kind of, yeah, because I'd always loved writing anyway, and I thought, well, let's see what I can come up with.
What boredom enabled your natural talent to come forth?
I suppose it wasn't as natural then as it was now, sort of thing. That's because I thought it was just writing a few lines on pages and just thinking, oh, this is good. Keeping myself amused, really.
Yeah.
So that was that. So I was about 15, 16 then. This was a long time before I started considering it as a career, obviously, or whatever. And that I just thought, let's see. I just wrote a few throwaway poems, and that was that, really.
Good.
Yeah. Influences.
You do have quite a very wacky sort of style, generally.
Yeah.
Where you sort of draw your inspiration from.
Thank you. Call me wacky now. First real influences when I was very young were the Beatles, obviously, because my dad was a 60s child, and he had all that sort of imbued into him, the music, the time, the style, and but the Beatles were his thing, and he sort of used to play he played their music a lot about the house, and obviously growing up and that, you sort of get that mentality and you think, yeah, this is great, and yeah, that's it, yeah. Obviously, when you're that age, so you just like the music because it sounds good.
Yeah.
And then obviously, as the years went by, and I got more of an personal interest in them, and then you do hear the lyrics, and then you think, wow, those are great lyrics. The music's great, but the lyrics are even better.
And of course, John Lennon wrote some poetry himself, didn't he?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, John Lennon, I was going to say, was a great influence, an early influence on me. As you said, he wrote 2 books of poetry in the early '60s and that, and very sort of off the cuff sort of stuff, very sort of wacky and wild kind of stuff,
So it took a more off the wall take on certain ordinary topics.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think Lennon, in the style he wrote in, sort of like similar to Lewis Carroll, Jabberwocky, all that sort of thing, Alice in Wonderland, which is where he got his influences from, and I was more influenced at that time by John Lennon than Lewis Carroll, who was obviously the founding father of all that kind of stuff, really, you could say. And but yeah, obviously the Beatles and the John Lennon connection, that's where it all really started. So they were like my earliest influences and that, and over time others have come naturally. So yeah.
You've lately some of the more recent poems. You've done one entitled Apple.
Yeah.
Which is a wonderful observation. A broad-scoped observation on the humble apple and its place and its representation of society.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's one of the more recent poems I'm proud of, actually. Again, just like a few buzzwords written down and just like pair them off together and out it comes. And it's got natural rhythm when it's spoken as well. It comes off the page so easily. As a performer, as I'm reading the stuff.
Is that your most recent
it is.
item you've been working with?
It is, yeah. That was written about, a month or so ago, a couple of weeks maybe. I just thought, Apple, it's one word. It's simple. You go away, just go off on it.
It hits home.
It does, yeah. Just go off on one, really. Apple, right? What goes with Apple? What kind of connections are there to Apple? And you're thinking, yeah, Beatles. The Beatles had Apple, and later on the computer software company Apple and Steve Jobs, etc., etc. And it just all came from that, really. You know, it didn't really take a great deal of thought. Just sort of came, really. You know, and that's always been my strength in that. I've never needed to, you know, think for a great amount of time about what I'm going to write. I just sort of write it in the space of a few minutes or something. You know, which is really great. Yeah. Good question. Tough question, because I do have a few favourites. I'm probably going to say, because it won me the Exeter Poetry Slam, I'm probably going to say the Beans one. Got to be the Beans one. Yeah. Everyone knows about it. Everyone asks me about it. I love performing it as well, and I think it's just a great piece. It was one of those pieces where you write something and you just think, yeah, this is going to be good. And it was sort of one of those sort of pieces I just thought, as I was writing it, literally as I was typing the words out, I knew I was onto something.
It's a piece of...
You know, like something hits you out of the blue and you just, yeah, that's going to be the one.
Because when you listen to it perform, as I have, you can tell it's a piece of poetry that's not just written as poetry, it's written with comedy timing written into it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's what lends...
And I think that was kind of an added bonus, really, because as good as I knew it would have been or was going to become, the comic timing just sort of just happened. You know, I kind of had this idea of how am I going to read it, how is it going to sound, how am I going to deliver it. And I just thought, well, the first 3 words alone, just beans, beans, beans. The audience are hooked straight away because it's a narrative almost, you know, it's a style that it's been written in, maybe subconsciously, but I sort of thought, wow, this is going down great as I was reading it.
Yeah, you very much sort of nailed the leading the audience on with the anticipation of what's to come with the deliberate dragging out the beam.
That's it, yeah, and I just thought, wow, that works really great, because it appears 3 or 4 times throughout the piece, and I'd got to like the 2nd or 3rd saying of the beans, and by then the audience totally knew, you know, what to expect, sort of thing, which was really great.
And it's like that. Then at that point, you let them wait for a bit, and then came in with it, and that drew out the giggles.
Absolutely, yeah. It was, like I say, it was just a great piece to perform, and I really wasn't expecting the response I was going to get, or I did get. I just really enjoyed it, and it's going to be part of my repertoire for years to come, hopefully. Yeah.
Definitely. You did do some one recently, which was very good. Where you did it was like a parody take on the TV channel close down. Narratives that you used to get on the old analog TVs when they closed down in the night, and they described the following day's programming.
That's it, yeah.
And it was done very much in a way of a little bit like the gobbledygook talk you used to get in the 70s, where it sounds normal and English, but it doesn't make sense, almost to the point where you think that you're just not hearing it right.
That's it.
And it flows very comedically as well.
Yeah, that's it. I think that traces back to another influence, really, the whole Monty Python sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Big admiration for Monty Python, you know, admire their craftsmanship and creationist sort of attitudes and that, and again, just all stems from that, really, you know. And again, Lewis Carroll comes into it with the making up of words and this sort of thing, and, you know, odd sounding patterns and the structure and that. And I just thought, I remember those TV continuity things from years ago, and I thought, well, how can I do that in a modern way, but with a sort of modern twist?
How can you sort of put fun at that?
Exactly, yeah. So I thought, this opens itself up to a bit of fun here. So that's exactly what I did. I went out and had a lot of fun with it, really. Just threw a load of words together that didn't really mean much, but when read they kind of make sense, even though the words don't make sense. The reading,
it makes sense, but it's using bizarre random objects in place of
totally,
where you have somebody's name.
That's it, like I just made up a list of silly names you hear, that, you know, like when they would do the VOs on the TV and that, you know, or Laurence Olivier and all this in Lawrence of Arabia sort of thing, and I was coming up with, you know, Belgian atheist conductor Lothar Kindlefig, which comes to mind because, you know, I've got a personal preference for that one. It's just the way it rolls off the tongue, you know, Lothar Kindlefig. If there's anyone out there called Lothar Kindle Fig, you're the inspiration for this. Yeah, but no, I just really love the pattern, and again the pattern, the structure, the whole the thing of it. I've not performed it that many times though, but I think it'll be one of those things that the more I perform it, the greater I can craft it into a more adaptable. Yeah, sure.
As well, and it's really it works.
It works.
It gets the audience laughing.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've
goes down very well.
It does, yeah, and I've got to think that. I don't want to get on my high horse here, but you've got to go in with a certain amount of confidence, because if you're not confident in what you're doing, then why do it in the first place?
Yeah.
So well, that's my reasoning for it anyway.
Yeah. I know you've worked with people like say Malika Kagode and Gina Sherman.
Gina Sherman, Apples and Sleeves.
Of course, Matt Harvey.
Matt Harvey, the great Matt Harvey, the quintessential Matt Harvey.
It's one of your big inspirations.
Yeah. One of the first things when I started getting into poetry seriously as a performer, was lucky enough to work with Matt Harvey, great poet, like I say, and he really sort of pointed me in the right direction. When it came to performance, when it came to writing, or just when it came to everything really. And I just thought, wow, this guy's a god. He's doing for a living what I want to do for a living. He was like, the great light in the sky, so to speak. Light at the end of the tunnel. I just thought, yeah.
Sort of mental.
Yeah. I mean, because he sort of dabbles in like the humorous and the quirky and all that sort of thing, and again that spoke to me even more. And I just thought, wow, this is what I want to do in life, And it's just like, I saw him and I thought, I want to do what he's doing in like several years or whatever. I want to do what he's doing for a living, because he does what he enjoys and he loves what he enjoys. And he's making a living out of it, which is what we all want to do as writers, performers, musicians, whatever. So yeah,
you've very much been centred around the Exeter poetry circuit.
Yeah, that's right.
And the people involved there. Such as Live Talk, Matt Harvey,
Tim King,
Robert
Garnham, great Robert Garnham. I've got to give Robert a shout out. Yeah.
And of course, Morwenna Griffith.
Who co-presents one of the open mics along with Tim. Robert Garnham, Chris Gower, those guys really have influenced me further. Matt Harvey was just a stepping stone, but these guys have, continued on, sort of thing. I started off here and now I've gone up here, sort of thing. And I owe the guys a ton of gratitude, really, because they're doing it at a level which is successful in a way, more so than myself at the moment. I mean, they go to all the, especially Robert Garnham and that, they really make the effort to go to all these open mic nights up and down the country, not just the southwest and that, and they do a really good job.
So is that something?
I look at them through envious eyes sometimes. I don't mind admitting that. And Robert Garnham, the second best poet in Swindon. Yeah.
So is that something you would be looking to do to put further your career?
I think so. I think it's the natural way to progress in, the natural way to sort of head now. Go to these open mics up and down the region, and well, I'm moving to Oxford soon, so I'll check out the scene up there, see what's going on up there. But I'll still try and keep in touch with the southwest, which is where my sort of where my writing where I started where my writing roots developed and blossomed, and I honed the craft. So I'm just going to go from strength to strength. Hopefully, definitely. But I'm sure I'll find loads more influences as I travel on the rocky path that is life.
Excellent. Be up there, moving around, I suppose.
I think wherever I'm going to be in 5 years, I still see myself doing what I'm doing, because I've done this for the last 5 years. I've done it for the last several years, and whatever I'm doing in 5 years' time, I'm sure I'll be doing now. Hopefully, on a grander stage, maybe Edinburgh Fringe, one can dream.
I can imagine moving to Oxford soon, as you are.
Sure.
That might be a big springboard. There's a big literary culture.
Just the culture. Absolutely.
Connections.
That's it. Obviously, being the location it is, fairly close to London and up country way, and just.
And of course, the heritage of Oxford.
Exactly. We went. Me and my partner, we went into this pub and that. I forget the name of it now, but it was a pub where I think it was C.S. Lewis and J.R.R. Tolkien would meet, and they met every day for like 20 years and discussed ideas and that. And to be able to sit in that environment, you know, where they sat, maybe probably even sat in a seat where they used to sit. I mean, that's just a wow moment there. You know, just to think, wow, they actually sat here, put pen to paper, discussed ideas. You know, they were. J.R.R. Tolkien must have been talking to C.S. Lewis about, you know, I've just written this script called The Lord of the Rings, and I think it might be a good thing one day. And well, now look at it, it's a multi-million-dollar franchise. You know, films, books, games, everything, and just to soak that up, really. You know, you want to soak that inspiration up as a writer. You want to sort of channel that energy, so to speak.
Being amongst that sort of environment, like, give you a big confidence boost.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, why not? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, very nice speaking to you today.
Thank you. Yeah.
Jones the Poet.
Yeah.
Mark Jones.
Yeah. Mr. Taylor.
Yes, I've been Mark Taylor. Interviewing Mark Jones. We'll be seeing more of you soon.
Oh, I need a piss now.